Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome back to Mystical Block. Picking up where we left off last time, as you can see in my hand here, I now have the handheld version of the transmutation table, which is the transmutation tablet. Recipe on this guy, pretty straightforward. We just needed to get to dark matter, which is done with the Philosopher's Stone, and it's just basically to get to dark matter, we had to get Aeternalis fuel around a block of diamond. Aeternalis fuel is just Mobius fuel transmuted with the Philosopher's Stone, which is just alchemical coal transmuted, which is just coal transmuted. So we just had to get 4 coal and then build up enough EMC so that we could pull out, 4 alchemical coal to get the 4 Mobius, to get the 4, or to get the 8 Aeternalis to put around the diamond to get the dark matter, and then we needed 4 of these, 16 dark matters to get the table, or to get the tablet. Just make sure that when you go and do that stuff, you throw your table into the the chest. Blah, 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 blah. What's that chest called? The chest that we had that was duplicating our items, so that you could make sure that after you make the table, then you can put it into the, or you can actually have the table and then eventually the tablet in there, so you can make more in the future, because you do need more of these to get on down the line, right? So then I went ahead and I cleared out everything in my chest that had EMC, and we're now just down to like this many items, and technically, I could throw out most of those seeds if I really wanted to. The osmium, I should just go and throw that into the smeltery and get it cooked up and into regular osmium, because it does have EMC, but I just kind of missed doing that. And then the rest of this stuff really doesn't have EMC, like all of the mystical stuff doesn't have it. All of these reliquary or apotheosis. It's reliquary or apotheosis. I forget which one these guys, all these alternate drops come from. Uranite, and then some of the Powa stuff, because we'll be doing some Powa today to get our proper thing up. But yeah, once I had emptied out this chest, I had about 10 million EMC, just a little bit more, about 11 million, I think. And then I noticed that the power flower, not only the Mark 1, but I could get up to the Mark 2, because this guy only costs 10.32 million. So I just went up in here and looked him up at Proj. And flour. So to make these guys, you're just following all the crafting recipes to get up to the Mark 1, and then the Mark 2 just made with the Mark 1 and these other things. I would not go with this recipe. I would not trade in, I would not use a flower power in the spot of a dark relay, because this costs 6.69 million. See, and everything else is the same here. So dark compressed collector, EMC link, Mark 2. You're just replacing one flower power there. So power flower, not flower power. I'm going to say that enough times today fast. But yeah, just throw this back into your table to get the resources that you need to be able to, especially this guy's the EMC link is usually the crook in the whole crafting process to get up there. But then I've just got some passive EMC coming in at 306 per second, which is, building me up back nicely. I've got about 6 million in the time that it took me to do a little bit of terraforming over there. And the only reason I was doing terraforming over there was because I was waiting for my energizer setup to work for me here. So I just basically got an energy pipe and the rods, and I started from the base level, right from the power mod. So I started with the starter rods, and then because this is all nested crafting, so it wasn't too bad with the energizing rods. So you start off with the starter, then you get the basic, which needs the starter, and then from there, once you've got the two starters and the energizing orb, you can, I threw it onto a, a basic cable because this doesn't need any of the special stuff out of it, but to get up to the next stage we need this energized steel for the hardened tier, and this is made with a gold and an iron and 10,000 redstone flux, and you'll get 2 energized steel out there. So I just went up the chain there to make the higher and higher crafted items from the mod. So you go from energized steel into blazing, and then after blazing goes, which I use this recipe because I don't have blaze rods yet, and then the next stage after that was niotic, right? Hardened, blazing, niotic. And once I got up to making the niotics, I decided that my power generation with the 5 windmills and the couple of the solar panels I had there just wasn't cutting it, because it was taking, a good, I don't know, 10 to 12 seconds to make one of the niotic crystals. And I was draining these much faster than I could actually power them at. So then I had to wait for these to, fill back up again. So then I'd go over and do some terraforming and then come back and do more. But I did eventually build up enough resources to get a niotic reactor here. So I think between the 2 niotic energizing rods and all of the what is it called? Niotic crystals that I needed to make the capacitors to get to the reactors here. So just a pretty simple recipe. We just needed tons of uranite, and well, about 144 total diamonds to get up to this stage here. So because this is just 1 diamond, and 300,000 redstone flux to get up there to that one. So yeah, that was a little bit of a process, absolutely. But now that we have all of that, we've got the 36. You need 36 reactors to build the thing. And then I figured I tried to get it, well, I wanted to go up as high as possible. I was going to stop at blazing, but none of this is actually nested crafting. As you saw, the recipe here for the niotic doesn't take the blazing reactor at all. And it's the same for the other power sources as well. So if you're going to go up, use like a magmator. So the hardened does use the basic one, but the blazing, oh, these are nested over here. Huh, I thought I saw that wasn't. Maybe was I looking at the fernators? No, the fernators are. It's just the reactors that not. But the reactors are pretty much the way we want to go. The other expense, or the other limiting factor we had there, was getting the uranite. So I just went to the mining dimension, grabbed enough uranite to be able to make the seed, and we just got tons and tons of it through the siege, which is another thing that I did while I was waiting for power to generate to get up to this stage here. But we are at the point now where we can just tear all of this temporary stuff down, and I'm going to put my reactor down on this spot here. So kind of gives, when you have enough in your inventory, it gives you the outline of what you want to do. So we just plop that down there and it will build itself. So this is one thing that I do love about the Power mod, is it builds itself, right? You don't have to worry about building it. And then it'll pop up and you can see it's pretty much all similars on each side. Mirrored, I guess, it's not the term I'm looking for, but it doesn't matter which way you put it down, they'll be all the same. So you have the little red point there, which is where we can put items. Do we put items in there, or do we put them in here? I think this is the input and this is the power output. But I could be wrong about that because it's been quite a while since I've used these. Just put these guys back down so we can use them. And go over the UI in here. So there's a bunch of different things. If we had the Power book, which is not hard to make at all, I think it's just a book and some paste. Yeah, so not too hard at all. So you can make the manual and it'll tell you all about this here, but we'll be putting Uraninite in here. We'll need a redstone. I think redstone goes down here. Coolant goes over here, so we'll need to put water and ice. And thankfully I had a wandering trader. I think the one that was here is gone already, but I had a wandering trader a little bit earlier in the pack that sold ice. So I ended up EMCing the, I think they sold the packed ice, so I EMC'd it up and got myself blue ice. So that's where that came from, and I think I can even go up to the next stage and energize 2 blue ice into the dry ice, which is the top tier one. But for now, the dry ice doesn't have the EMC, whereas this does, so I can just actually pull out a stack of it, which I should have done a moment ago. And then we'll need redstone. Oh, because okay, so this is really annoying in this GUI here. You've got the buttons underneath this slot, so you kind of have to aim on the top of it to get stuff out of there. And we'll need a bucket of water, so we can just dump that in there. Shift click, the ice will go in, so it goes into that slot there. Shift click the redstone, that goes in there. Oh, forgot to grab my Uraninite. And we'll see where that goes in there. So this is now generating power. Oh, because I don't have my flux plug point in yet, so or my plug. So does it go here? No, it goes on the bottom one, right? Yep. So I think we might have to do all our inputs and outputs from the bottom. See, that's in there. So now, bang, instantly full. And there's one, I think it's iron. Is it iron? No, there's another one that goes, oh, it's coal. That's what it is. I remember. Doing this live, and it's always bound to screw up, which is why I always try to be prepared before I get into recording, because I like covering a lot of stuff in an episode, because basically a lot of it's just knowing what to find it in JEI and going forward. But yeah, so coal increases the amount of power. Same with the redstone, and the better coolant you have, then it keeps this temperature down. Because if this temperature goes up, then the output goes down. But right now, where is? So this should be generating 42,000 FE per tick, and we've already gotten the full 30 million stored in here. So I kind of underestimated, because when I read this generation, that said I was looking at the generation factor and it said 2.7. So I'm like, oh, okay, if each power pot takes 500 FE per tick, then I can operate 5 power pots off of this. And so I went and set them up here. But little did I know I'm generating a lot more than that with this. So we'll be able to set up a lot more just to have some passive why is everything not coming to me at all? Imperium. That's what it is. No, it's not Imperium. It's, yeah, Jesus, I can't think of it. Inferium. That's what it is. not inferium. So passive inferium, so that we can get up to insane, get a bunch of insanium stocked up, and more emeralds, so that we have it's a little bit. It'll be a lot faster generation of EMC rather than these power flowers. And just wanted to go over my setup here because I wanted to have everything kind of flush, but I got to realizing here with the pipes, universal pipes, you can't input and output from the same side at the same in one time. It was really disappointing, so I did some testing there, right? Because if we shift click this, oh, I gotta go back up again, and I don't have water on me. That's fine. Should build an elevator so I can get up and down from my basement a little bit faster. But if you have this just with a regular connection, right, without this bottom square, then the power will go in, but it won't pull out the items when the pot generates it. So if we shift click that to pull, then it will pull the items, but it won't put the power into it. So a little bit of testing there, got super bummed out that my design's not going to work, so we might have to find a different way where we can put items and energy in and out with one block. I know of a solution, but another YouTuber has been doing that route, so I kind of wanted to avoid doing it and find a different way, but we may just have to go with modular routers. I'm not too sure. But yeah, this guy is pretty interesting that he had wither skeleton skulls for trade, which would have been really nice earlier, but found my witch water solution for getting wither skeleton skulls anyways, so nothing too exciting with him here now. So anyways, yes, I've got a bunch more pots that I could set up here. I've got pretty much my design in mind, so I'll put a row of pots here, then another row of pots here with another energy line there, and then another energy line here. Because these are 8 by 8 and not 9 by 9, they don't work perfectly, but that is what it is. We'll just have lots of inferium coming in, lots of extra EMC coming in. If we can find something better to farm for EMC, then we'll go with that. But for now, emeralds it is. On to refined storage, so I can get rid of this big ugly thing finally. A couple of options that we had here. We could expand this guy to much larger storage if we needed it. Probably don't, because I'll be I think I like using the transmutation tablet as a passive item storage system. It's a little bit clunky, so that's one of the reasons I'm going to go and set up refined storage. And then, to get this bigger, we could, expand it out, make it a 5 by 5 by 5, 5 by 5 by 5. And then we could also upgrade the chest to copper, iron, gold, diamond, and obsidian, even if we wanted, and that'll expand the storage on it. But it'll still be this big ugly thing in the middle of our base, and I kind of wanted to get away from that. And I'm going to be using refined storage anyways, because we're going to need we definitely do want the auto crafting options and other powerful things that refined storage can do for us. So that's going to get rid of this and go with some digital storage. So got the necessary things all mapped out here. So the first and foremost thing that we need is a controller. To get the controller, we're going to need some quartz enriched iron, an advanced processor, and silicon, and a machine casing, which is just quartz enriched iron, and a piece of stone. So relatively easy stuff there. I've just got to go and pull it all out, and then the same with the crafting grid here. We need a crafting table and an advanced processor. Oh yeah, show you the processors here. The processors are basically just cooked versions of these, which just takes silicon, redstone, processor binding, and then So the blue one is obviously a diamond. The gold colored ones, I forget the names of them all now, but we'll take gold, and then there's a silicon one, and I think there's an iron one, which I forgot to make, but the processor bindings here are pretty simple. We just needed slime, which you could use concealed blood if you don't have that, or if you're earlier in the pack than I am and you haven't been to the Twilight Forest yet, and a couple of string, and you just get these. They have EMC, so it's all easy there. Easy peasy. So I'll just throw this on a quick pause and get everything put together. All right, dawn of another new day. The day of digital storage has arrived. Now, I haven't gone too deep into this rabbit hole just yet, but I just had a look at it and it was quite impressive. So I'm going to put down some power with the Flux Networks just going into the controller. We'll throw down the disk drive over here. So this is what we need to hold our storage disks. And then our crafting grid, we can just throw on there so we can see all of the items that are in our system. Obviously, we don't have anything there yet, but just grabbed one of these 1K storage disks just to start. And you can't uncraft these, hey? Let's see. Is there any uses on this? No. So maybe I'm going to take some of the items that I have in here, throw it onto this 1K and throw it out because it's quite inefficient to use the smaller storage disks. So the crafting on this isn't too hard. We just need the storage parts. And then if we look in here at so in just the basic refined storage, the storage parts go 1K, or 1K, 4K, 16, 64. And then there's the fluid storage, so the system can do fluid as well. But there's some add-ons in this pack that are added on that I actually have never seen before, and I just got totally overwhelmed in here. So you can go from, I'll show you the base crafting there, right? So this is just the basic craft. Then to get the 4K storage part, you need 3 1Ks. So right, you're automatically getting a little bit more efficiency because it only takes 3 1Ks to make a 4K. And similarly, going up the lines, you only need 3 4Ks to make a 16. You only need 3 16s to make a 64. Then it goes from 64, you go to 256, from 256 to 1024. And this extra disks mod. Nope, go back to fluid. So the last one in the line is the infinite storage part, which takes 3 1048. So this is all actually craftable for an infinite storage disk. And it's not too hard at all at this stage of the game that I'm in. We just need to get these withering processors, which I missed because I never knew about this extra disks before, and I just found it now when I was going down this rabbit hole. So just going all the way down the line here, 16Ks, 4Ks, 1024Ks, then 256Ks. And then we're back into the regular ones. So 3 64s to make the 256 and so on and so forth. So you can literally get infinite storage on one disk at the cost of just some EMC, right? Or this doesn't have EMC, but these guys, this guy doesn't, this guy doesn't. 34.3, right? So there's 100 million in the next step here. So 300 million. 900 million, so you got a billion, you're at a billion here. So 3 billion EMC for an infinite storage part. So it's not totally outside of the realm of feasibility, especially when you start getting deep into Project E. It goes really, really fast. Cat's almost fallen out of his little thing there. So we can just, start emptying out this guy here so I don't, here, let me empty out my inventory first. Stuff I don't need anymore. Oh, I may as well do this here so that I've got it. Don't need it, but actually I should have done the storage part instead of that, but now I've got 1K worth of storage available in there, so we can just grab out what's easy to say goodbye to. Bunch of seeds. Right, so just a few stacks of seeds and we're already a third full on our storage disk there, but I could just take this and then throw it, let it despawn or throw it into the garbage bin one way or the other, right? Just do this with it or throw it into this garbage bin here. And yeah, just delete items a little bit quicker that way if we really wanted to, but I'll go ahead and expand the storage out between episodes, get rid of this big ugly thing. And and then yeah, I got off on a tangent there. So if you had like the great big chest and an upgraded chest and you wanted to keep all of that in there, then there is the external storage which you could craft, and you just have to attach this to your system one way or the other with the cables and whatnot, right? Just making these cables, and just make sure that you've got an interface, not the core, but you need an interface like I showed you in my mob farm, and attach that external storage to that, and you can see whatever's in your chest in your digital storage system and don't have to go through crafting of the disk stuff. If you prefer to go that route, it's totally feasible depending on which way you want to go. You're just not going to get infinite storage like we found just now with the extra disks mod. Anyways, that's everything we wanted to cover in this episode. I'm going to go and flush out all of my tier 1 power pots. We might even go up to some higher tier power pots, but I think those guys are a lot more expensive. Yeah, these guys are 10 million just for the Mark IIs, and like I said before, they're probably not worth it for the output that they give. I might have to do some testing on it, but I'll probably just go with a fair amount of these Mark Is and let them work passively while I do fun stuff around the base like progression and making it look like an overworld, which is the main point of my playthrough in this pack. Anyways, I appreciate you all, and we will see you in the next one.